Welcome to another Top 5 with Chris05. Today I'll be looking at the 5 best performing decks after the main nerfs in Hearthstone. Even though Blizz were saying that we probably won't see any more nerfs anytime soon, I did warn you that we probably will, and we did. So I think a self-high five is in order. Nice. In today's video, I will give you an overview of each deck, its win rates, a mulligan guide for it, and if it's worth the craft, so stick around. Hope you enjoy it, and if you do, a like and a subscribe is always appreciated. I'm going to do a golden bundle giveaway for you guys, and you have 24 hours to join it, just by commenting under this video. I will draw the winner tomorrow live on my stream with a random comment picker, so see you there. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the deck. For the love of... What do you mean I lost my job? What do you mean likes don't pay for bills? So what am I supposed to do now? Today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, a free-to-play RNG grinder. I've played a lot of games like this in the past, but I've never seen graphics like this in them. Similar to Hearthstone, it's available both on PC and on mobile, which is pretty cool. In the champion section, you can find all of your units. Here's my boy Galek, who is one of the 4 dudes you can pick as a starting champion. From the portal, you can open new champions, but I'm still a pleb, so I can only open up to rare champions, but there are also epics and legendaries. In the battle section, you can choose from various campaigns, dungeons, and clan bosses, or you can take part in the faction wars or in the arena. Damn, Galek, you scary. There's also the newly introduced tournaments with which you can earn extra rewards. You can find the download links in the description, and if you're a new player, you will receive this rare dwarf dude, Grumbler, as well as 100k silver to start you off. You can find your rewards in your in-game inbox. See you there. Back to the decks. After the third set of nerfs, in about 6 weeks, I think it's safe to say we won't be seeing an 11th class in Hearthstone anytime soon. Overall, there are really a ton of decks that are performing really well right now, but I can only fit 5 in a top 5, so let's see the picks. I will also mention other top performing decks for each class I feature in this video, as well as for the rest of the classes I didn't fit in this top 5, so don't feel too bad if you don't see your favorite archetype in the codes in the description. The first deck on the list has to be Highlander Hunter again. It seems like Highlander Hunter has been a part of the top 5 decks ever since Zephrys came out, and it doesn't really show signs of slowing down. This is the most consistent deck from Platinum to Legend in this post-nerf meta, and it can go fast or slow, depending on your opponent. Being able to choose the correct strategy against each opponent is what makes or breaks a good Highlander player. You have to be able to figure out when you should be going all in and when you should be holding back so you can go harder later on. The deck is packed with a lot of smoke tools that can bring your opponent down pretty fast, but you also have a ton of value cards which can help you hold your own in the late game too. Some lists even find room for a Nagran Slam here, which can help you cheat out some wins, but overall this seems to be the best performing list right now. For the matchup, you should only see problems versus faster decks like Murloc Paladin and Zulok. The rest should be great for you, and if you're sick of Priest, well, here's your answer. This is all stats from top 1000 legends, so as long as you know what you're doing with the deck, you can have even greater results at lower ranks. For the mulligan, your good 1 and 2 drops are your best keeps. Keep 3 drops only if you already have a good 1 and a 2 drop. And you can even keep Bran if you already have a good curve going for you. Zephrys is also a great keep, but ramping with it on 2 doesn't feel as great as other Highlander decks, especially if you don't have your big boys to curve into. Is Highlander Hunter worth the craft? Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's an expensive deck, but it's been at the top of the meta ever since it came out, so it's definitely dust well spent. Most of the core legendaries in it are also a part of the other Highlander archetypes, so you will have access to the other Highlander classes too. So if you enjoy the Highlander archetype, you can't go wrong with Hunter. Just Dragon Hunter and Face Hunter are also doing pretty good, so you can check those 2 out as well if you're short on dust. If you're seeing too many Highlander decks on the other hand, here's your savior, Bomb Warrior. After a nerf hits a card, people naturally stray away from it, but in this case, Blood Boil Brute is still a part of this one. The Wrench Calibers is what makes this deck so great against Highlanders, and you can shuffle as much as 8 bombs in your opponent's deck, as long as you draw both the wrenches with the cash and you get one from the Pillager. There are quite a few control tools packed into this deck too, so you can take your sweet time while those bombs do their work. Blastmaster Boom is also a very serious threat, but you also have access to the risky Bomb Wrangler combo. The Warrior Prime is also in this deck, for a massive armor gain, and it's not a bad 4-drop rush to begin with. Your worst matchups would be Priest and by a lot. Anything else is far beyond 50% in your favor, so as long as you don't see too many Priests, this deck would be perfect for your climbing needs. The mulligan is not complicated. You want your Ankar and your cash. Sky Raider is also not a bad keep, and depending on your opponent, some control tools might also help. Don't get baited keeping Risky Skipper as a 1-drop, unless you really need her for an early board clear. Armorsmith is also not a great keep for turn 2, since you don't really plan on playing it then, but you want to use it as an armor generator obviously. If you already have a cache, you also might consider keeping your Blastmaster too, especially if you're going second. I'm not too sure if it's gonna be a great idea for you guys to be crafting niche legendaries like Deathwing, Blastmaster and Kargot, but it really feels like this deck is here to stay, since it's a great counter to the Highlander decks and to the aggro meta as well. It's definitely a deck worth checking out if you have the resources, but keep in mind that a Rage Warrior is still doing great, and even Pirate Warrior has found its way back into the meta, so choose wisely. Next up is Tempo Demon Hunter again, even after 3 sets of nerfs. Nothing ever dampens your spirit, does it, Illidan? In this list, we have a few interesting tech choices, some of which seem to be staples nowadays. Beaming Sidekicks seem to be working really well, protecting your board and helping you do more value trades. Frozen Shadow Weavers help you gain even more tempo, and the Guardian Ugg Merchants really make it hard for your opponent to deal with your high value threats, or you can just use it as a 1-mana ping. Those two are taking the spots of the 2 Sigil Runners, but you also might consider bringing them back since Cycle is such an important tool in this deck. Sigil Runners are quite awkward indeed, since you can't really keep them in your starting hand mulligan, unless they're already outcasted to the left side, or at least in the middle, next to a 1-drop which you already plan to play on turn 1. But they really help you a lot get to your core cards faster. Other than that, the list is pretty standard, with Skulls of Gul'dan as your most expensive card. Am I the only one bothered that Gul'dan has more than 1 Skulls? I think that was a missed opportunity to leave Skull of Gul'dan as a 5-mana drop, but make it into a legendary, but whatever. I know a lot of you hate Demon Hunter, myself included, but nowadays you really need to squeeze this guy to the max to really get a good win rate. Every point of damage matters, and you have to know when you can go all in and when you should save your resources for a big Altris or Kayn finisher. Also, knowing when to trade and when to draw cards is pretty important too, and managing your outcast cards can be a hassle. But yeah, it still feels pretty broken playing against it. For the matchups, as long as it's not Warrior, you will be favored. The version is heavily teched against the mirror, so it would be great for you if you're seeing too many Demon Hunters yourself. Fight fire with fire, or other nonsense like that. For the mulligan, you want your good 1-drops, Umberwing, and if you already have a good curve going, you can keep Satire too. Twin Slice can also be kept for early synergies or for you to protect your board. If I-Beam is already outcasted, you might also keep it as well, for a good 1-mana 3-drop removal. If you already have a good 1 and 2 drops, you might even consider keeping Skull of Gul'dan or Warglaives in some cases. Just think about how the first few turns can pan out and mulligan accordingly. Just don't get baited by keeping Kayn or Altris or Metamorphosis in your starting hand. Probably ever. Is it worth the craft? I don't know, dude. You tell me. 3 sets of nerf and still at the top? Pretty worth in my book. The legendaries seem like a safe craft and the epics feel great too. So yeah, definitely a good craft indeed. Now let's see a Spell Druid who's actually not running Kael'thas. This version opts for more consistent early game and more ramp, instead of the Kael'thas version with a bunch of clunky big cost spells. Kael'thas is great when you get to play him, but more than half the games you either burn it or you never reach it, and revolving the whole deck around one card made it too inconsistent for most. The 2 main threats here are the Glowfly Swarms and the Mount Sellers, but you also have Ysera for some big threats in the late game too. Your only hard matchups seem to be Demon Hunters, and you don't see too many people playing those nowadays. Other than that, you should have a good time against the rest. For the mulligan, your Fungal Fortunes, Overgrowth and Glowfly Swarm would be your top 3 picks. Wild Growth also helps, and you can even keep a Mount Seller just to be sure you don't burn it, especially if you're going second. Depending on the matchups, you can keep some adequate removal too, and Rising Winds is a pretty solid twin spell you could keep as well. This is one of the cheapest meta decks out there right now, so definitely worth the craft if you enjoy this playstyle. It's not an easy deck to master, but it pays off. The only legendary here is Ysera, which is kind of niche, but there are other deck versions which don't run her, so you might want to try out those first before you craft it. Other than that, even just Token Druid is finding its place back into the meta, and there are Quest Druids and Malygos Druids out there too, but Spell is the top performer for now. And for the last deck, I might as well slap my Galakrond Rogue again. After the latest set of nerfs, it seems like Stealth Rogue is the way to go, and there is room for some tech choices too. The nerf to Hanara was not such a big deal, but the Blackjack Stinner doesn't feel as amazing now, even though it's still pretty awesome. In this version, we have 4 Stealth Dudes and 2 Sages for the card draw. Akama is also pretty fine, but it doesn't really feel great to top deck the Prime after that, so it's probably better to play the deck without it for now. We have the 2 Avises for the extra reach, and we have 2 Shadow Weavers for some more tempo. Other than that, the list is pretty standard. Not too much data for this particular version, but you get the idea. It's pretty decent against Demon Hunters, and it can consistently deal with most of the other popular decks too, as long as you're good at it. For the mulligan, there are a lot of things to consider, but you always want to be keeping either a Spy Mistress or a Cat for turn 1. Skyvateer is also pretty good for turn 2, and if you already have a Stealth Dude, you can even keep the Sage. If you're going second, you might even keep it without having a Stealth Dude, because you will be drawing quite a few cards till you get to play it. For the value matchups, you can also keep Togwaggle, especially if you're going second. Eddy and Miscreant are also great when you have the coin, but if you don't have it, it's probably a dump. Depending on the matchup, you might want to keep Backstab, Ivis, or Seal of Fate. Overall, the Galakrond package is here to stay for 1 more year, so if you enjoy it, definitely craft away. It's not a cheap deck, but the legendaries are core and worth it. Having the Galakrond package opens up a lot of possibilities for other sub-archetypes, and we will see other cool versions of it in the future too. Other than that, Highlander Rogue is also doing pretty good, if not better, and Secret Rogue is still no joke. For the classes I didn't mention, Highlander Mage and Spell Mage are doing pretty good. Murloc Paladin is also seeing a spike in popularity and power again, and there are also Libram and Pure Paladins too. Galakrond Priest is still at the top of the annoying list, and we are seeing some Totem Shamans out there, but I'm kinda skeptical that archetype is gonna stick. Quest Warlock is pretty strong in skilled hands, but Zoolock dropped hard in popularity, even though I still think it's an okay choice. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope it helps you climb some ranks easier. Good luck in the giveaway, and thanks for watching. I'm Chris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.